Hello and welcome to Brewers Daily, part of the Fan Arch Podcast Network. This episode brought to you by Kalshi. Kalshi, trade on anything. Right now, use promo code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10. I'm Dave Gasper, and we got a loaded Friday show here coming up for you. Previewing the Yankees series that the Brewers have coming up, starting a 3-game set at American Family Field for this weekend. Going to talk a little bit of Brice Turang and how insane he's been early on. And also, we're going to take a look down on the farm at a couple of Brewers prospects that are trending up and some prospects that are trending down through the first little bit of the season. So, let's get into it. Brewers, Yankees here this weekend, starting tonight. And it is going to be quite the matchup on the mound. Jacob Misiorowski on the bump for the Brewers. And then you got Max Fried on the mound for New York. So that is going to be, really just an exciting electric matchup on the mound. If you enjoy pitching, if you enjoy really good stuff, that is certainly the place to be. So with Max Fried, he is a left-handed pitcher, so that means that you're likely going to see a lot of the righties in there. For the Brewers lineup, you're likely going to see Gary Sanchez at DH. Probably not going to see Tyler Black. Maybe you'll see Garrett Mitchell, maybe not. Maybe it'll be Brandon Lockridge instead. Joey Ortiz likely going to be in there instead of David Hamilton, even though horse apiece at that spot. But it's Max Fried, Jacob Misiorowski tonight. And then on Saturday, Kyle Harrison, the lefty, on the mound for the Brewers. And I'm going to be cautious when I say this, Cam Schlittler is pitching for the Yankees on Saturday. And then on Sunday, Logan Henderson on the bump again, and Carlos Rodon pitching for the Yankees. Rodon, another lefty. So 2 lefties in this series on the mound. So we're going to be seeing quite a bit of Gary Sanchez, perhaps not as much of Garrett Mitchell, David Hamilton, Tyler Black, some of these other lefties that the Brewers have. Brice Turang obviously going to be in there. You're going to have some of these guys that are for sure in there with this group. But you could see some other changes in getting a lot of these right-handers into the lineup against all these lefties. But, Max Fried, 2.39 ERA this season. Cam Schlittler, a 1.52 ERA. Carlos Rodon making his season debut. So, really, this is going to be a very impressive matchup. This whole series. The Brewers are throwing probably their 3 best arms right now. The way that they've been pitching, Misiorowski, Harrison have both been fantastic lately. They have ERAs under 3. Logan Henderson, obviously, just kind of made his second appearance of the season last time out, but still looked really, really good in that outing. So if you could line up based on the healthy arms that the Brewers have, these would be the 3 guys I would like to have for this series against the Yankees, who have been playing pretty well, 26-12 on the season. So that makes for a very important series here. Even though it's interleague again, the Brewers can't necessarily gain any ground in the division because of what happens here, because the Cubs can't stop freaking winning. It's incredibly annoying. The Reds are completely useless, but they've been completely falling apart. And the Cubs just can't stop. It's insane, and I'm sick and tired of it, and not here for it anymore. But this series against the Yankees, Brewers got to get some momentum going again, and now that they have Jackson Chourio and Andrew Vaughn back, that is going to be a very big boost, as we saw on Wednesday in St. Louis. And those guys can help buffer and provide some protection around Brice Turang, who has been absolutely phenomenal on the season. You look at the Baseball Savant page for Brice Turang, and it is just red up and down, and red is good on Baseball Savant. He is 98th percentile in expected weighted on base average, 99th percentile in walk rate, 94th percentile expected slugging, average exit velo, 92nd percentile, 92nd percentile chase rate, sweet spot, hard hit, everything is 90% or above, basically. It's incredible. And obviously, speed, defense, all of that elite as well. His expected weighted on base average, the best, far and away the best among all second basemen in Major League Baseball. He's atop the leaderboards in so many of those categories at his position, and really almost even just kind of around the league, regardless of position. Hitting .305 on the year, a .956 OPS, 5 home runs already, 7 stolen bases. The dude is just on an absolute tear. I mean, there is just no other way around it, and he has been this way for an extended period of time now. I mean, the power surge that we saw beginning last August, since then, I mean, it is MVP caliber numbers that he's putting up. So just looking at what he's been doing offensively and the elite defense that he provides, this is a cornerstone piece of this organization and of this team and how they are going to win. Brice Turang is such a crucial part of it. Having him going, having protection around him, which they now have a bit more of with Chourio and Vaughn back in the lineup. Because previously, it was just Turang and Contreras trying to hold down the fort while all these guys were injured. Yelich is still out. He's working his way back and should hopefully be back fairly soon. We'll probably get an updated timeline here as the homestand progresses. But we're not going to see him back during this homestand. But still, with what Turang is doing, with what he has done for an extended period now, he has taken that next leap. He has taken that quantum leap forward as a hitter, as a professional baseball player. And this is one that I would love to see in Milwaukee for years and years to come. I know we've kind of talked about it before, about an extension, about what the price tag is going to be. It's not going to be cheap. That window is gone. But, I mean, when he keeps up putting up numbers like this, whatever the money, I mean, the money is going to keep going up the more he keeps doing that. So, again, this is kind of me. This is not Matt Arnold. But if it were me that were in charge, I would just say let's do whatever we can to get a deal done now. Because it almost kind of seems like, you know, the housing market. The price is only just keeping on going up. And I don't think there's a bubble here, okay? I don't think this is going to be some sort of 2008 bubble thing where it's all just going to come crashing down. Like, this is a truly ascending player that just continues to get better and better and better every single day. And the value that he can provide to your franchise, that is something that I really don't think any of these other young players that the Brewers have can really match. You know, with the exception potentially of Jesus Made. I know I've said it before. It's like I like Cooper Pratt, but Cooper Pratt does not have the offensive upside that Brice Turang does. That is clear. Brice Turang has proven at the big league level that he has this upside. Cooper Pratt is not. I would much rather see that extension for Turang, but we shall see. I mean, but until then, the numbers just continue to climb. And he just continues to prove that he's better and better, and he's going to be helping this team win throughout the season and hopefully several more years. But, you know, as much as I'd love to get it done, I perhaps would not, you know, guarantee it. If there were a Kelce market on a Brice Turang extension, I might put my money on no, but my heart says yes. But on Kelce, you can trade every single game. And the Brewers taking on the Yankees here, that leads to plenty of opportunities. And, you know, even though we have a great pitching matchup going here with Max Fried and Jacob Misiorowski, two aces, two studs on the mound, do you think there's going to be a run in the first inning? The market's a little bit down on if there's going to be a run in the first inning off these starters. Currently at a 48% chance. Is what they're trading at on Kelce for there to be a run in the first inning here tonight. That means a $100 trade pays out $198 if a run scores here in the first inning. So that could be a lot of fun because we're all looking at this and we're saying, hey, I think that there's going to be a pitcher's duel here because you got Jacob Misiorowski, you got Max Fried. How could you not think that there's a pitcher's duel? But that doesn't mean you don't get first inning runs because that's probably the easiest time to get to these guys. So, yeah, you could kind of buy the dip there as they say. So that is an opportunity. On Kelce, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code FANARCHBASEBALL to get $10 when you trade 10 KALSHI Kalshi trade on anything. All right, I want to look now at the farm system here for the Milwaukee Brewers. A couple of guys that, in my book, are trending up. Then we'll get to some guys that are trending down. All right, I don't like to highlight guys trending down because it's still early. A lot that can happen, but we do still have to talk about that. It's not always sunshine and rainbows when you're developing players. But on the sunshine and rainbows side of things, for guys that are trending up so far, one of them for me, Braylon Payne. I was pretty low on Braylon Payne coming into the season. I thought his strikeout rate last year was way too high down in low A, and that's generally not a good sign when you're striking out that much in the lower levels. As you progress, that strikeout rate generally only tends to get worse. But Braylon Payne has made some progress on that, and he has looked a whole lot better this season for high A Wisconsin. He's got that strikeout rate down to 25%, which is still a little bit on the high side, but it's much more manageable. It's much easier to deal with a guy having a 25% K rate than a 32, 35% K rate like he had last year. I mean, that was atrocious that he had last season. Excuse me. He's up to 6 home runs as well, so showing off a little bit more of that pop that he has. He's got some great exit velocities on his base hits as well. A 950 OPS. He's hitting 282 in terms of batting average. So Payne is having a really, really good start to the season. And the strikeouts are the key number, the key stat that I am watching for him throughout the season. If he can keep that down at a manageable level and keep that at like a 24, 25% strikeout rate throughout the season, that is going to have him trending way higher in my book and give me a lot more confidence that he could ultimately become a big leaguer one day. First round pick in 2024. Obviously, big time project, a lot of work still ahead of him, but that is some really good progress. Also, Jet Williams, remember him? He was acquired in the Freddie Peralta trade from the New York Mets. And we're thinking coming into the season, it's like, okay, maybe they're going to make room for him to be the guy in the infield for the Brewers this season. Have not seen him yet. But, even though Cooper Pratt is the one who signed the extension, Jet Williams is saying, hey, don't forget about me. Williams is hitting 353 in the month of May here, so about a week in. So he's been on a bit of a hot stretch lately. Like Pratt, like Wilkin, like a couple of those guys, he started off really, really slow. Excuse me. Over there in AAA Nashville. But he has started to figure it out and turn it on lately. Getting some more extra base hits. He had a walk-off home run the other day. So Jet Williams is starting to trend up. I don't know if it's going to be enough to overtake Cooper Pratt, who's also been trending up. But Williams he's kind of been forgotten about almost in that infield picture. As soon as Pratt signed that extension, all of a sudden no one's really talking about when's Jet Williams going to get here. It's all been when's Cooper Pratt going to get here. So keep an eye on Jet Williams. And I'm not going to highlight Luis Lara here because everyone knows highlighting Luis Lara in terms of the trending up. So I'm going to go for a little bit more of a different route here with Dylan O'Ray. Dylan O'Ray lost all of last season to a wrist injury that required surgery. But this year, back in AA Biloxi, Dylan O'Ray, second baseman, outfielder, he's hitting 318 with a 22 to 22 walk to strikeout ratio. So he's walked as many times as he struck out, has an 850 OPS, 17 stolen bases. Kid's incredibly fast. Okay, he's not a big power hitter. He's a contact speed guy, and he's drawing walks. He's not striking out a ton, and he's hitting over 300, and he's stealing bases. So, where he fits positionally, I mean, second baseman, center fielder, obviously with that kind of speed. Given the Brewers' infield glut that they have, in all likelihood he'd play the outfield in Milwaukee, but he's playing a lot of second base right now in AA. And I mean, if you keep hitting like that, if you hit 300, they will find a way to get you in the lineup. So he kind of fits the Brewers mold of a short king who just loves to get on base and steal bases. I mean, that is Dylan O'Ray perfectly. So those are the Brewers prospects that I wanted to highlight that have been trending up. Talked about Darian Miller on yesterday's show, but now we got to get to the guys that are trending down for the Brewers, and this is kind of a bit of a, obviously a bit of a downer note, but we've talked a lot about too the Brewers pitching lab, right? The Brewers pitching development success stories. They have a lot of young, projectable high school, kids that they've drafted and are turning into legit prospects. And a couple of those guys are really not off to good starts this year. Bishop Letson was one of the top ones, one of the most talented arms in this system that the Brewers have. I mean, outside of the guys that are big league ready, like your Logan Henderson, your Brandon Sprouts, your Robert Gassers, Bishop Letson's that next big pitching prospect for the Brewers. Well, for AA Biloxi, Bishop Letson has a 7.23 ERA across 6 starts. He's walked 15 guys in 18 and 2/3, has 18 strikeouts. But the ERA, yikes. The walk totals, yikes. It has not been a great start for Letson in a pitcher-friendly Southern League. So that does give me some concerns over Bishop Letson being able to take that next step. He missed some time last year with a shoulder issue, and now this year expecting big things of him, and that hasn't quite come to fruition quite yet. But again, it's still early on. Same thing here with Brice Message for the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers in High A. Brice Message, another early draft pick. Brewers gave him a lot of money to sign and forego going to college. And so far in 5 starts for High A, Wisconsin has a 6.48 ERA, 19 walks, 15 strikeouts in 16 and 2/3 innings. So he's averaging more than a walk per inning, like more than 9 walks per 9. Like that is bad. That is not good to be walking that many guys early on. So command troubles here for Letson, for Message. It's leading to a lot of runs. They have not been able to have the success that they were expecting in these first couple of outings. So they're trending down so far in the early part of the season. But again, it's a long season, lots more still to come, so they can turn things around and continue to get going, because player development is not linear, okay? Guys will go through ups and downs. Even the best of prospects will have those moments. But we'll be making sure that we keep an eye on them all throughout the season here on Brewers Daily. So be sure to subscribe, get notified every single time a new episode drops. I'll also be keeping an eye on the farm system and the Big League Club, of course, over on Twitter at dgasper24. Follow me over there. Appreciate all of you watching and listening, and we'll see you again next time for another episode of Brewers Daily.